Hey guys, so if you saw my shophush.com haul, then you might remember me talking about or showing you the Bad Habit Royals eyeshadow palette. So I said I was going to test it out over the weekend and then report back on Monday and tell you how I made out and what I thought, the whole bit. So that's what I did, and this is a dupe for Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. And if you look at them, all the colors are the same. It's just the placement in the palette is not exactly the same. The pans of the Bad Habit one are a little bit bigger, and but aside from that, they are basically the same. I sort of, matched them up color for color, and they were all the same. So I played with the Royals palette all weekend, and I tried different combinations, and I am wearing it today too. And I couldn't be happier with this. I am shocked that this is only $10. I didn't have any issues with it. The palette is made in China. It says made in PRC. That stands for People's Republic of China. And some people have concerns about makeup that is made in China because they think that it's going to be inferior or it may have dangerous ingredients. The ingredients are printed right on the sleeve that comes over the box. So if there's anything on there that you're concerned about, you can clearly see the ingredient list. And I have super sensitive skin, and I did not have any issues with irritation on my eyes or anything like that. It was fine. And so I could not be more impressed. I only paid $10 for this. And if you order on shophush.com's website, you have to spend $25 minimum to get free shipping. And, $25, you don't have to buy much to reach that amount. If you use their app, there are no limits. You just get free shipping. Now, I used PayPal because I've had issues with problems with my credit card from ordering online in the past. So I used PayPal on their website. I don't know if you can use PayPal if you use the app. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try it. Everything worked out great the way that I did it, so I don't want to push my luck. I placed my order last Monday, and I received my package on Friday. So it only took 5 days from start to finish. And that might seem like a long time to some people, but take into consideration that I live in Massachusetts and the package was coming from Los Angeles, California. So it had to go clear across the country. So I've ordered from other companies where it took longer than 5 days. So I was very impressed with the speed at which I got my package. Everything came intact. Didn't have any issues with any damage to anything. Everything was nicely bubble wrapped. But yeah, so I played with this all weekend and I'm real happy with it. Now I have swatched all the eyeshadows, and some are nicer than others. I have not used every single color, but I would say I've used most of it because I tried to do like a combination of different shadows each time I used it. I used it on Saturday, Sunday, and today. So I've used it 3 times, and I tried to use a variety of things so that I could, use as many shadows as possible. And in comparison to the Anastasia, I would say it's not as pigmented, but I wouldn't expect it to be for $10. And to be honest with you, sometimes when you use a palette that's super pigmented, like the Anastasia one, it's a little harder to work with because you have to be so careful how much product you put on your brush, and you have to blend it so much more, and you can run into problems when an eyeshadow is too pigmented. So I would actually rather work with something that is a little less pigmented, like this Bad Habit one, and then I don't have to work so hard. You know, I can dip my brush in there and I can apply it, and I don't have to worry about how I'm going to be able to blend it out. Now, with some eyeshadows, they don't work well with each other. Like sometimes eyeshadows can get a little muddy, or you can't see you can't see where one ends and the other begins. Didn't have any of those issues with this. I used as many colors as I wanted to, and I could clearly see each color as I was applying each one, and I used several each time. So I am extremely happy with this, and I'm happy with the other things that I ordered that were part of that same order, to the point that I've already placed another order. So let's see, I did that yesterday, and I figured because of the holiday I had better place my order on Sunday, because the holiday will most likely, you know, mess things up. Not only that, but the day after Thanksgiving will be Black Friday, so I don't know if I'll get my package in 5 days. Well, actually, that would be impossible because Thanksgiving would be 5 days and there would be no deliveries on Thanksgiving. So I don't know if I'm going to get my package in 5 days this time. But anyways, my point is I was so happy with my experience and the products that I've already placed another order. And they carry other brands of eyeshadow palettes that are dupes for things. So I wanted to try some other brands, so that's what I did. I ordered a couple different brands of the dupe type eyeshadow palettes, and I really love this one that I got, and this brand is extremely popular. All the other eyeshadow palettes that they make, that they sell through this website, were out of stock, so it wasn't even an option to order a different one, which I probably would have since I was so happy with this one. But since they were out of stock, I thought, okay, let's use this opportunity to try some of the other brands. So there'll be some different things coming in my next haul video. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these eyeshadows. Like I said, the placement in the palette is different. The names of the eyeshadows are different. But other than that, they are exactly the same colors as what you get in Modern Renaissance. And like I said, from shadow to shadow, they vary in terms of the pigmentation and that sort of thing. So let's do some swatches so you can see. The first one is called Queen, and this is stunning. This is such a gorgeous color, and I have it on as a brow bone highlight, I have it on as an inner corner highlight, and I have it on the inner part of my lids. And the equivalent of that in the Modern Renaissance palette is Vermeer. So it's the dupe for Vermeer. And that's what it looks like right there. But it is just stunning, and it applies beautifully. I really, really love this eyeshadow. It's probably my favorite one in the palette. It's just gorgeous. Now, I'm not going to do this for every single one because it would take forever, but just out of curiosity, since that is my favorite, let's take Vermeer. Okay, that's Vermeer. And now let's swatch it right next to this. Okay, so it looks like there is a tiny, tiny, tiny difference in the color. But you know what? I like the Bad Habit one better. I like Queen better. Yeah, this is the Bad Habit one, and it seems to have like a lightness and brightness about it that is more intense than the Anastasia one. So very, very interesting. So I'm not going to swatch every single one side by side, but yeah. So let me swatch the other ones for you then. The next one is Treasury. And this is like a matte peach. And I use that as a transition shade. So that's Treasury. And yeah, you won't be able to see that. That's the reason why I used it as a transition shade, because it blends right in with my skin. So you can't really tell by looking at it, but it makes a nice transition shade for my skin tone. So I did enjoy that. And then the next one is Primrose, which is a really pretty light mauve shade. And that's what that looks like. And this isn't really a crease color per se, but I just decided to put it in my crease. I hadn't done that yet, so I wanted to, but it's not really a crease shade, so I don't know why I did that, but I did put it in my crease, but it's too light of a shade to really be doing that, so you can't really see it. And the next one is Noble. And this is like a light, warm brown. And it's matte. That's a lousy swatch. Okay, so see, you can build it up, not like crazy pigmented, but you can build it up, and they blend really nice, and I'm really happy with this palette. The next one is Honor, and this is a shimmery bronze color. Isn't that gorgeous? I used that all over my lid one day, and it was like too intense for my skin tone to do that, so the look was pretty powerful. And then I used it again the next day, but only put it like on the outer part of my lid, and then it looked a lot better. But that's Honor. Really pretty shimmery bronze. And the next one is Regal, and this is one of the berry toned shadows in the palette. So if you have trouble working with these berry tones, maybe this is a good thing that it's not as pigmented, because then you can, you know, go in lighter and you don't have to worry about trying to blend it out afterward. Okay, the next one is Grand, and this is a matte brown. This is probably the most crucial shadow in the palette, because you can really do so much. I mean, you kind of rely on this to either darken up the outer corner or drag it along the lower lash line, or you really, really need, this is sort of an essential shadow in the palette, because if you look at the other shades, there's no black, there's no other browns. So yeah, that's definitely an essential. So that's called Grand. And I have this on the outer portion of my look, just the whole outer part of the area. It's not like, it isn't a crazy dark brown shade. So depending on your skin tone, you may have to build that up, but you can definitely work with it and do that. Okay, the next one is Crown, and this is a gold. And this I have on the outer 2/3 of my lids. Very pretty, very easy to work with. One day I just put it in the center of my lid. Really pretty. There aren't that many shimmery shades in this palette, but the few that there are gorgeous. Okay, the next one is Opulent. This is like sort of a matte yellow, I would say. So that's Opulent. This is one of the, I just realized I put it right on top of that shimmery shade, so let me do it in another section. Let's do it here. Yeah, see, this is the one of the few shades that doesn't really perform that well, but that doesn't really bother me that much because as long as most of the shadows are good, that's the important thing. So Opulent, not that pigmented and doesn't really show up that well. So that's the yellow. And then the next one is Air. And this is like a light, it's sort of an orange, no, it's peach. I'm going to say it's a warm peach. So that's Air, H-E-I-R. Right there. So you can see that's a little bit more pigmented than that yellow, but not crazy pigmented. The next one is Throne, and this is the warm taupe type shade. And I think I did use some of that. That one's pretty good. It works fine. I think I did use some of that today too. I think I started by using Primrose in the crease, and then I realized that that wasn't really that great of a color to use in the crease, so then I went with that Throne shade over it. Okay, the next one is Rain. And this is another one of those berry type shades, but it's sort of a brownish berry. That one's plenty pigmented. By the way, I got this sweater this weekend at Walmart. It's so colorful. It's got like 6 colors in it. It was $10 right at the front of the clothing section. I just thought it was so pretty. I love it. Okay, Monarch is like a burnt orange type shade. That one's plenty pigmented. And last but not least is Majestic, and this is like the reddish of the berry shades. It's like lipstick red shade. Very pigmented. So some are more pigmented than others. I would say probably these two right here are the only two that don't really perform as well as I would like, but for $10, this is definitely worth it. And knowing what I know now, if I had to go back in time, I would have waited. And I don't think I would have got this palette. I would have just waited and got this one. Because I don't really need both. I mean, I will use both because I have them now. But I don't really need both, and this performs adequately enough for me to just use this. Because, let's face it, folks, you know how it goes in the makeup world. You know, things come out, people go, ooh, pretty combination, I want that. And then something else comes out and you move on to the next thing. So things move so quickly that it doesn't make sense to me to spend $42 on something like this when the next week or the week after something else is going to come out that I might want, you know? So I would rather just buy this and spend $10, you know what I'm saying? It's not quite as good a quality as this is, but in some ways, it's so much easier to work with something like this that isn't as pigmented. So I'm really happy with my purchase, and Yeah, I would get that instead of the Modern Renaissance if I had to do over again. But of course, it takes them a while to develop these dupes and come out with them, so you have to wait a while, but it's worth it to me. So that's it, you guys. That's my review, and thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.